The best exercise, I think, to start your day off with would be a little bit of working on drop it and leave it. Because we're gonna also give him a chance to get some exercise, get some energy out when we're doing this. So I'm gonna use the flirt pole. It's a really good challenge for him, a very good distraction that we can use. That's a really good thing to use because it's a really good reward for him. So we're giving him access to it, so we can take away access to it, right? So we can tell him if you do a certain thing, you don't get the toy anymore, you don't get to play anymore. With drop it, I like to be in control of tugging, because a lot of the ways that I'll teach drop it is, if I say drop it, I'm gonna stop tugging until you let go of it. So the game's not gonna be very fun until you release hold of it, and then I'll make the game fun again. The issue with the flirt pole is that he can entertain himself pretty easily and tug on it, even if we're not moving it around. So it's not always the best choice for that. Sometimes a toy's a little bit better for that. What are you doing? But I can also use the e-collar if he is really persistent about tugging on it. I don't mind doing that. It's not my preference, but it works pretty good for him. So what I want to do here is I wanted to work on some impulse control. I don't want him jumping up to grab it before I give him permission. If he lunges for it, I can lift it up and take it away from him, or I can give him a tap on the e-collar so that he understands that that wasn't the correct thing to do. He's not going to get the toy. I want him waiting. It'd be nice if he chose to, do something, sit or down, but I don't really care that much. And I'm going to release it to him with our word. That means he's free to go chase the toy. And that word, again, is yes. Now he can get it. And he's chasing it, but he hasn't grabbed a hold of it. Every so often, I want to ask him, leave it. Good. And then I'll stop it moving so it's less interesting. And after I've asked him to leave it, he shouldn't go for it again until he's given permission. And so I actually didn't use the e-collar there at all. He did that on his own. If he'd continued to chase it, I would have used the e-collar. It's our best tool here for this exercise. We don't have to grab him. We can just be very uninvolved and say, no, you really got to do that. But I'm not using it here. If he goes for it before giving permission, I will use it to correct him. Nope. So just there I used it, told him no, and it was around to 17 when I tapped him. Yes! Now, chase it. Yeah. Oh. I don't want to be asking for a ton of leave-its, a ton of drop-its, because I don't want the game to get boring for him. And usually when I ask for a drop-it, I'll want to give him permission to chase it again right away so that he has a lot of value for his drop-its. Because he knows as soon as he drops it, the game's going to start again. So I'll maybe do 3 or 4 drop-its right back to the toy, let him play for a few minutes before I ask for a drop-it and some kind of command. Drop it. No. Drop it. Again, if he doesn't drop it on the first try, I'll tell him no, and I can tap the e-collar. If I'm playing tug with him and I have a hold of the toy, I can just stop playing with him. I can hold it up against my body. I can hold really close to his mouth on it so he can't get a good grip on it and he has to let go. Then I'll tell him he has to start playing again. But depending on how skilled you are with that, because it can be kind of tricky, especially if he's tugging pretty hard, you can always use the e-collar. Nothing wrong with that. So now that I've asked him to drop it, same as with leave it, he should leave it alone until I give him permission to chase it again. Nope. I wouldn't mind eye contact from him when I'm doing this, so I know that his focus is away from the toy. He knows he's supposed to be listening to me. But when you first start this and he's really working on getting this used to this with you, you can just ask for, a few seconds of waiting before you release him again. Yes. Nope. Nope. Yes. You see there, I didn't use the e-collar at all there. He wasn't as quick and clean about outing from it. But I just stopped moving it around, and it gets pretty boring for him if it's not moving around. So he thought about it. He kind of let go. And then he went for it again and figured he could just start tugging on his own. So I told him no. And like I said, his no's with me are really good. He understands what the consequences are. But we don't have to always be ready to correct. There's other ways that we can show him that he should drop it or let go of it that aren't always based in just using the e-collar or the leash. Drop it. Like I was saying, I can grip it very close to his mouth so he can't keep tugging and getting a good hold of it, and then I'll just hold it against my leg. Make it pretty boring. What's important when you're doing this is I don't want to pull it, I don't want to pull it out of his mouth. I want him moving his mouth away from it. So if he starts to let go of it, I don't want to yank it backward. One, he's not really fully dropping it, I'm taking it away. And two, that's going to make it exciting again. So I want him choosing to let go of it very, very fully on his own. Now I'm going to hold it there until his mouth comes all the way off of it. Drop it. Good. Yes. He's been really good with me with like tug toys in my hand, but the flirt pull's a lot harder because again, he can tug on it himself, and I don't really need to be doing much for him to make it fun on his own. If I'm doing this drop it with the flirt pull, I need to make sure that I reel it in and I have a grip on the toy itself when I ask. Drop it. Now, periodically when we're doing this, we can also ask for a specific command. So rather than having him voluntarily do a command, or just do drop it and leave it, I can have him down. All the way, bud. Down. Good boy. Nope. Down. Thank you. And we can work on adding some distractions with the toy. Yes. Thank you. Sit. Good. Nope. Yes. This will be a good way to get some energy out in the morning and work on just warming up some basic skills for him for the day. When we're out on walks, obviously it's not going to be very practical to bring this, so we can bring just a regular tug toy that we can hold in our hands.